Hello, welcome to the Wolf's Lair. I am Fenris, and today I am showcasing my completed terrain map. There is a lot to cover in this video, so let's delve right into it, shall we? First of all, to you who are thinking of making your own 3D terrain map, get your ass in motion, you can do this. Yes, I am talking to you. Be inspired by this video, learn from my mistakes, perfect it, and just run fecking buck wild with it. I haven't done anything like this before, but what I have accomplished, I have done because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. One of them is certainly Mel, the terrain tutor. You can find a link to his YouTube channel in the description box. That guy is a real golden geezer. I have learned so freaking much from his videos. There is also loads of stuff on YouTube intended for making model train scenery. A quick search is definitely worth the time spent. When it comes to adding grass, shrubs, trees and the like, I have primarily used products from Woodland Scenic. Top quality stuff, and dirt cheap. A must for all terrain builders. The map measures 1.5 times 4.5 meters. For you non-metric users that means roughly 5 times 15 feet. It is divided into 4 pieces, which makes handling a lot easier. It's not seamless, but it's the best I could fecking do. The water level isn't as originally intended. I wanted way more water, but that turned out to be really costly. Which reminds me of a rather tragic incident. Back in the days, when I was studying geology at the university, a fellow student drowned. Why, you say? Because his grades were below sea level. I have included 2 volcanoes, one is on Iceland and the other is on Sicily, Italy. As you can see, and as we all did back in 2010, there is some smoke emanating from the volcano. Iceland itself is mounted upside down. Sorry about that, my Icelandic friends, hope you don't get dizzy. Which reminds me of an old saying. Iceland may not have cash, but they sure as hell got ash. That small rock representing Mount Etna is, in fact, a small piece of Mount Etna itself. In the Baltic Sea one can spot a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. That World War II relic was discovered back in 2013, as some of you probably remember. Of course, there seem to be quite a lot of Russian submarines around those areas these days, so Swedes, take notice. Even though it is wartime, there are some small animals frolicking about. In Normandy we can see one of those wild boars, not yet eaten by Asterix nor Obelix. Holy spotted cow. What have we got here in India? Biggie, have you seen this? If not, no biggie. Outside the coast of Peru we should be able to get a few Peruvian cods, Japan has got some tunas, and by the Burmesian coast we can spot a few goldfishes. And the map would of course not be complete without an American eagle's nest. I tried to factor that one into the mix. To make the map even more unpractical, I have added a lot of other stuff. The Middle East is of course prepped with oil derricks, and Russia has got some sandbags. Congo is littered with all sort of gems, including but not limited to, blood diamonds and rubies. And yes, I know, chemical warfare was a thing from the First World War. But, one can hardly deny the fact that the Germans were fond of using gas, sarin among other, for even more nefarious purposes, hence the yellow gas markers. Poisonous, not venomous. That white cloud is the kamikaze's parking lot, of course with magnets attached underneath. The weather forecast is probably as expected. There is always sun over the Sahara Desert, rain over the west coast of Norway, oil fumes coming out of a touched oil derrick in Iraq, and some snow over the Himalayas. As far as magnets go, there are quite a few mini magnets functioning as landing spots for airplanes. And I have painted some rows of steel staples, being camouflaged as airplane hangars. And then we have the added cannons. They are placed all over, and I realize now, in hindsight, that they could very easily be mistaken for anti-aircraft artilleries. But what the hell? I have mounted FGL artillery, being, and hold on to your trousers, mounted on FGL, or mountain, in Norwegian. And near the German, Russian, border we can spot the famous Gustav. What a big ass gun, that really is. All these add-ons can be bought from historical board gaming. I wanted to make the map a bit more realistic by adding some rivers. They are, in no particular order: Nile, Niger, Congo Flood, Yangtze, Ganges, Volga, Mekong, Danube, Seine, and Amazon. The following bodies of water have also been included: the Great Lakes of North America, Onega, Lake Victoria, and one up in northern Russia that actually doesn't exist. Lastly, a few comments on the whole building process. I have spent an ungodly amount of man-hours on this project. I really don't want to think about all the fecking hours spent working alone, and in the dark, so to speak. It almost makes me a bit sad. Almost. And by God, I can hardly count the numbers of times I wanted to quit. The uphill struggle, not knowing if this would turn out to be any good, was a challenge and a half. Not to mention, even though I do mention this, working with all the underlying support stuff, and things that really does not show in the final result, turned out to be particularly challenging. Firstly, I have spent many hours watching videos on YouTube, to gather intelligence and tips and tricks of the trade. Secondly, there has been quite a lot of experimenting, getting to know various materials, tools and techniques needed. Thirdly, making the land masses and decorating them. And lastly, fine-tuning and polishing every crook and cranny, preparing for the use of fake water. But lo and behold, in the end I must say I am bloody proud of my work, and in the final result. And again, whenever you are ready to make your own 3D terrain map, please learn from my mistakes. If you contact me, I can provide an almost endless amount of tips. All in all, the whole building process has also given me the opportunity to experience some true magic. Yes, I said it, magic. One of the many forms of true magic is the internal, mental, process one experience when starting with some novel and creative ideas. And making it come into life using one's own two hands. When you condense those ideas into something concrete, useful and artistic. The mind is always in a very special mode, and having that wonderful experience is something that we can all achieve. As a grand finale, I want to respond to the many requests I have gotten about showing this map combined with my painted units, as it will look when actually playing. But, I am sure you are all tired of me yapping, so, let's do this in full-on beast mode.